Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Majin Starcraft. Today we're gonna bring you a Zerg versus Protoss on Xel'Naga Caverns between the blue Protoss, EGAxlav, and ROOTCatZ, the yellow Zerg. Same as yesterday, sadly, we do have an Zerg versus Protoss, but hey, it's an interesting matchup, and this will show you that it'll be an interesting matchup. I'm saying this because as long as players speak, that means one thing and one thing alone, that they know each other and they're not gonna exactly attempt to, try to defeat each other via cheese or via fast game, and both of them will probably go full-on macro into a late game army versus army battle, and in my opinion that's the cream of the crop of StarCraft 2. That's what people love to see. Two armies going head to head, using micro in terms of controlling that army and defeating your opponent, and macro because it's impossible not to lose units and you'll have to reinforce. It's a delicate combination that can really, if you want to experience it, I recommend that you go to sc2cast.com, and anytime you see a live stream of any of the pro players, you watch it, because seeing how hyperactive, lack of a better word, the players are, you realize how much effort people actually put in this game at the high levels. So let's actually stick to the game. We have a gateway coming up for EGAxlav. So a basic wall in right here with a pylon and a gateway, nothing really special. Already he has a probe here to delay the Zerg expansion, who clearly the Zerg was going for an expansion, but was forced into a spawning pool and gas, so he's gonna go speedlings, and knowing that to actually force this probe to get away is harder than actually deciding to change up your opening a little bit. In the end, Zerg openings at this high level play are very easily mastered, both the early expansion or the pool opening, so we'll see. Finally, ROOTCatZ's own scout has reached here. The Overlord is still going on, so deciding, hey, a drone will be much faster. So there's a cybernetic score, so all he needs to do is keep a Zealot right here. Is an early Zealot on the way? Yes, because the production tab already said so. Also, I'd like to apologize for bringing you this game a little late, and there was no dead space yesterday, simply because, well, I've had a little bit of trouble with fraps, and today I got some really personal bad news. But luckily EGAxlav and CATZ are here to make the trouble goes away, simply by putting on a great show. And at the end of the day, I'm not doing this for anything else but pleasure, and I love watching StarCraft 2. I love casting them, as you can see. Very dick move, if you will. Laying down a pylon at the expansion to make sure that the hatchery is delayed. Two Zerglings gonna start taking it down. While these guys still macro up, I'm gonna say this. I've recently received some good news, and I have a special project in mind for our 100th episode anniversary. Majin Starcraft will soon reach its 100th episode. We will have about 180, 190 games cast. I haven't actually counted, but yeah, I have a special treat for you guys, and I hope you're gonna enjoy it. Not gonna reveal what it is, but let's say even the trolls are gonna be happy with it. Meanwhile, we do have Zergling speed almost done, so Zerglings will soon be running across the map. The pylon has been destroyed. Will the probe lay down another pylon? No, the probe is actually going in there for scouting. ROOTCatZ almost has the minerals to lay down an expansion, and he has laid it down here. This is interesting because in a way it's a good plan, but his expansion is fairly far apart from EGAxlav. However, he can force EGAxlav into thinking that he's only on one base. A Zerg on one base is very vulnerable, as in it can only produce out a lot of Zerglings and not necessarily dish out the punishment late game. So this can be a very nice tactic to basically bait the opponent into thinking he's only on one base, but no, finally laying down his second. Despite the fact that he's still laying down a second, and so is EGAxlav, what Axlav doesn't know, what the Protoss doesn't know, is that there's another base here. It will be a while, I assure you, until this base is up and running, because I doubt that he'll actually risk transitioning any drones and risk them getting spotted. So he's gonna probably produce them off of the hatchery, but he does have a queen here, so it'll be a lot faster. That means that ROOTCatZ is going to have a much better working economy. If you look at the income, at the moment they're both players are about the same, because hey, they're only on one base, harvester count is fairly similar, but hey. But soon, once both expansions kick in, CATZ is going to be ahead. Meanwhile, we do have a robotics facility and a forge, so look for those upgrades. That means that we might see a robotics bay and those colossus coming up. Right now we do have mass sentries. Well, mass sentries, I say mass sentries because basically there's more sentries than there are stalkers. 5 sentries, 3 stalkers. Not a big enough army. There's 1 zealot, but good enough to hold against any kind of Zergling attacks. However, we do have roaches, and roaches are really powerful against stalkers, we know that. And here we go, transitioning drones to the natural expansion, while this one is still very slowly getting there. As you can see, quite a lot of drones being produced at the moment. There we go. No, actually opting to produce roaches. I thought that they were drones, but no, opting to go roaches, I suppose simply because he's hoping that an observer will come into the main and we'll see a all-in tech build, which will allow EGAxlav the surprise attack of the roaches. However, sadly, the roaches are moving in right into these stalkers, and they can't do really much anything, getting caught from behind, and now the roaches need to run away without roach speed. There's that lateral reconstruction, but EGAxlav really saw where those roaches were coming from, and will he spot this? Will he spot this? Yes, he does, and now this base is in big trouble, because he only has 1 queen here for the defensive. I suppose he might bring these units for here, but soon more Zerglings spawning, trying to catch the drones and opting to kill the drones. As you can see, force fields to stop a lot of drones there, and now this will be a big hit because CATZ is losing a lot of units. Nice force fields to keep the Zerglings and roaches at bay, and now this expansion will fall, and this is a significant investment on CATZ's account. Another bit of force fields is keeping the Zerg army away, while EGAxlav is just shooting everything, deciding to take out the overlords, and now he'll probably decide to run away. But he's lost all the sentries. In terms of units lost, have both players quite the same. Strangely enough, CATZ is actually ahead in units lost tab, and he has been mining this base quite a bit. And harvester count the same, income the same. So in terms of resources, CATZ is slightly ahead because he was mining this for a short while. Not efficiently, mind you, but hey, it's a small advantage and you take what you can get. Little bit of an encounter here, and yeah, CATZ is using his roaches to do a lot of damage, because roaches do a lot of damage and they can soak up a lot of damage. But finally, EGAxlav has his immortal here and is able to fight off the roaches. 1 immortal is really powerful against roaches. Observer on the map to spot everything. While there's a break, I'll also say that I'm fairly happy to have bought another hard drive, which will be used exclusively for video game content, and that means that we should have less frame rate drops. At least that's what the Fraps manual says. And so far, I'm glad to say that we're recording at 30 FPS constantly, including the fights. So far we haven't had a big encounter, but hey, we'll see. And yeah. Now, CATZ has a... Yeah, I'm sorry, I phased out again. As I said, my personal life took a big hit today, and yeah, it's hard to focus on. I'll openly admit to you guys, hard to focus, but nothing I can't deal with. At the end of the day, that's what you do. You deal with it, right? And you deal with it by recording StarCraft 2 games. Production tab. Production tab says more immortals on the way. Groove spines on the way for our Zerg player. CATZ also getting an observer, probably to try and snipe off that pesky that overseer snipe off. There it is, that pesky observer. Will it fall? Yes, I think so. Hydra's on the way, and yes, poof. Right there, very nice. Meanwhile, KATZ actually securing the high yield and remining this expansion, and that means that he will be on 1 base, 2 base, and a high yield, while EGAxlav is only securing this one. It's easy to defend this small semicircle, especially because you only have this gap here, than to defend the high yield. However, if you can defend it, it's very, very good to defend it, because you have more minerals. Let's check out the income. As you can see, ROOTCatZ is ahead at the moment, and he will be even more ahead when he gets that high yield. So far, poor EGAxlav is on the defensive, as you can see, trying to snipe off a couple of transitioning probes, running in there with all of his Zerglings, actually going to snipe off that tower. And there we go. Where is? Oh, sadly, EGAxlav army car way out of position, and I believe KATZ is going to be able to do a lot of damage here, even taking out the expansion, taking out quite a significant number of harvesters. But now using all those force fields to try and funnel KATZ into something, but sadly didn't manage to do something. He tried to funnel him here, but KATZ did manage to save a big chunk of his army. And if we see at the units lost tab, he is still ahead, actually managing to pull off a slightly bigger lead. Immortals, lots of Immortals. Immortals are good against roaches. However, with Hydras in there and Zerglings, Immortals aren't going to be that good. Immortals are going to pound through the roaches fast. We'll see how much the Hydras are going to come in here. No Guardian Shields as of yet, using everything on force fields to try and separate the army. So far, the Immortals are soaking up a lot of damage. Units lost tab, as you can see, ROOTCatZ is finally falling behind because EGAxlav is using his Immortals and Stalkers and force fields quite effectively there. If you heard a scratching sound, that was my dog trying to come into the room. Yeah. You're probably gonna hear it again. I can't be bothered to pause the game. I'm too excited about game, and I just wanna, see it to the end. Using the high yield to a little bit of an advantage here. However, here comes EGAxlav and catching the rest of ROOTCatz's army. A little bit of army trying here for harassment, trying to snipe off all these long distance mining probes, and gonna probably snipe off this expansion. However, in the meantime, EGAxlav has destroyed a major part of ROOTCatz's army. As you can see, finally EGAxlav is ahead in the units lost tab, and if he can hold on to that advantage, he can win. He can slowly slowly push out, expand, and get the victory. However, as you can see, KATZ has managed to reduce that to 1,000 minerals, to 1,300 minerals with the push here with a small force. Zerg reinforcing ability shown off very, very here. However, extended thermal lance and Colossus means that the Hydras are gonna be in for one wild ride very, very soon. Probably gonna use this to try again and harass the mineral line. Let's see, will that be the case? Yes, there it is, harassing the mineral line from up. Probably gonna snipe off quite a few probes, gonna even snipe off the assimilators and make sure that no more gas. And EGAxlav needs gas because Colossus actually costs 200 gas, as you can see. Or you can't see because as I've added the Majin Starcraft logo again to the videos. Hey, why not? I mean, for 10 minutes extra recording time, who cares? Also, by the way, it's the click here if you want, and to subscribe is still available. I will have added a small annotation over the Majin Starcraft logo, and if you click it, you subscribe. What a surprise! And yeah, you can click anywhere in the video to pause the game. I would like to thank one of my viewers for suggesting that. He said, "Don't add your annotation over the entire video for subscription because it's annoying. I want to click and pause, but all I get is sent to your subscription page," and I have to admit, that is annoying. So you have a small annotation right over my logo. Click it to subscribe if you want. If not, don't. I'd actually, if I was a fan, I'd subscribe just for the Majin Starcraft episode 100 because yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm fairly proud of what I did, of what I've managed to set up. I'm very humbled for what I've managed to set up, and I'm gonna thank the people involved when we actually get to that episode. But until then, it's gonna be a big surprise for you guys, and I'm pretty happy with it. Maybe some of you might be disappointed with it. I'm certainly not. I'm gonna be happy with it. And finally, EGAxlav is moving out with his Colossus. Meanwhile, as you can see, ROOTCatZ is trying to run in here with all these Zerglings, probably gonna try and snipe off this expansion again. However, what is EGAxlav doing? He really needs to go in there. As you can see, two prone attack from Cats, using the high ground to harass this expansion, using the Zerglings and Roaches to harass this one, basically forcing all the income, as you can see, all the mining of EGAxlav to go into the dirt. EGAxlav will be able to push this back no problem, using the Colossus to snipe out, to defend here, and the rest of his army to defend here. However, he's taken major hits in terms of his economy. As you can see, he's still ahead in the units lost tab, but he's lost, oh, here we go, as you can see, still using the Colossus to defend this base. He's lost valuable mining time on both his mining bases, and he's completely lost the nexus here, and that means that EGAxlav is soon either forced to push out or to expand somewhere else, because right now he's only mining efficiently on one base. And that is kind of bad. As you can see, the Zerg reinforcing ability allowing him to reinforce his army quite effectively. Production tab says that we have a couple of corruptors to deal with the Colossus problem. However, the Colossus are mounting up in numbers that are quite powerful, and there we have the Stalker Sentry Colossus combination that can be very hard to stop. Again, we have a small force trying to run in here, gonna stop any kind of mining that EGAxlav is doing, but he is gonna come in here quite fast. Is this expansion gonna go down? Yes! With the Nexus going down, that means that there's even more lost time on mining. As you can see, if you look at the income tab, 300 resources for EGAxlav. That is problematic. I guess his only advantage is the Protoss Death Ball, because this Protoss Death Ball is really hard to stop, especially once the Blink Stalkers get here. As you saw, Blink is on the way, so once that is complete, Blink Stalkers will be a very powerful thing to have. Sniping off this expansion is good, but here that is a lot of corruptors. And oh no, sadly the Colossus are caught a little bit out of position, gonna try, and one Colossus actually falls, and now I think that CATZ actually has this game in the bag, really. With all these corruptors, he can snipe off the Colossus, and he's basically done enough damage to keep ROOTCatZ on sniping off another Colossus there, to keep EGAxlav on the defensive. EGAxlav, let's see, if we look at the units lost tab, he's actually, well, strangely enough, he's still ahead, but if we look at the income, he doesn't have any. He doesn't have any minerals banked. He has a lot of gas banked, but not any minerals, so basically he needs to get his economy up and running, and he needs to use this Protoss Death Ball as effectively as possible. Here come the corruptors, and it's all gonna matter how many Colossus does he manage to keep alive. Another Colossus falls, another Colossus falls. The Stalkers are trying to do as much damage, but there are a lot of corruptors here, and yes, all the Colossus have fallen now, and these poor Stalkers are gonna get munched to bits by all of these roaches. That, if we look at the units tab, as you can see, 31 roaches on the map. 31 roaches, lot of force fields. There are a couple of immortals, but 5 immortals are not going to be able to be enough once the force fields go down. Let's see, is he, but no, EGAxlav using the force field to great effectiveness. Will he able to snipe off this expansion? No, gets away with 48 HP. Well, does it get away? Nope, there he is, one shot of the immortal, taking out that expansion and making the units lost tab again. Oh my god, 8,000 mineral difference. And this is what EGAxlav needs to do. He needs to inflict major damage, because his opponent's been mining for quite a while, and he does have quite a bit of resource advantage, using all the force field advantage to separate, to actually keep the Zerg army at bay while he deals with a lot of harvesters. But once these force fields go down, I believe that the last remaining army for EGAxlav is gonna go in the dirt. As you can see, he's not actually producing anything, because all his resources have probably gone into, what have they gone into? He's not laid down any nexus, and soon he's gonna lose all his army. The Zerg is still producing, still mining. Well, he's not actually mining at all. Both players are the same amount of income, but production have fairly similar. However, if we look at the army size, EGAxlav is ahead on 89 over 38 food, and out of those 38, 35 are harvesters. So yeah, EGAxlav calls a GG. CATZ wins it in a very nice game. And thank you for watching. I'm gonna get right now I'm gonna get on recording Majin Dead Space. After the StarCraft 2 finishes encoding, I'm gonna get to recording Majin Dead Space. Then I'm gonna record the Gunslinger. I don't know if that's gonna come in after my raid or before my raid. I don't know. We'll see. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.